beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Watt Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. This sports program begins now. Football! It is magical. We're so incredibly lucky that we get a chance to chat about it every single day. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for a living. We hope you are having a spectacular hump day here as we await JJ Watt to join us here in a matter of moments. And he's entrenched in a little bit of a battle with the super stats people where, there's some representatives of the super stat community, a former football legend, a current incredible commentator, Greg Olsen, basically said, hey, the two-point conversion thing went down 2 scores. It's non-debatable at this point. This isn't even like kind of a conversation. And JJ Watt responded and said, definitely debatable. I mean, what are we even talking about? And then JJ, what he didn't know he was going to do is he was going to get in a war with every single stats person. And I think what Greg Olsen potentially didn't realize completely is that he was going to get in war with everybody that's like enough with just the stats making decisions community. So this came to a head. We would like to say he's 2 incredible football players. That's right. 2 great contributors to football, which we appreciate the scrap of what it should be, what it shouldn't be. JJ will be joining us in about 10 minutes. Excited to hear what he has learned through this entire process, because whenever your mentions start heating up by enemies, you learn things through that as well, because they are showcasing things to you that is letting you know that you're stupid. And if we know JJ Watt, I'm sure he saw some things that he would like to counter as well in their argument. Cannot wait for that. And obviously, Houston Texans are who they are, okay? And the Indianapolis Colts might be who they currently are. He called that game. He's going to be all over everything. Cannot wait to chat with him. Brian Hartline, wide receiver coach, offensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Obviously, we all know the Ohio State Buckeye wide receiver tree. It is phenomenal. Everybody kind of points at Brian Hartline for being the reason why that has happened. He's an incredible recruiter, obviously an incredible developer of talent, and also somebody that is trusted. He is now the head coach at South Florida. Congratulations to him. Well-earned, well-deserved. They thought maybe that would change some with the recruiting angle. Well, Ohio State's still Ohio State. Chris Henry Jr. actually committed and signed to Ohio State. He's a 6'6" wide receiver who's the son of his father, who's a wide receiver legend, Chris Henry, slim West Virginia legend. He was in Ohio, living with Pac and his family. Pac-Man Jones, best friends with Chris Henry since college and through it all. Whenever Chris Henry passes away, Pac-Man and his family kind of take on Chris Henry's family, which is an incredible thing, but he grew up in Ohio. Ohio State was his original commitment in high school. He continued to grow, though. He was like 6'3". His dad, tall, right? Tall, athletic, great wide receiver. He was like 6'3". Then he was 6'4". Then he was 6'5".
What?
Then he was 6'6". And they're like, hey, if you get 6'7", 6'8" here,
slow down.
You're not going to be able to play football, really. You're going to be a basketball guy, because this kid can take off from the foul line, has been able to since like high school, basically. So they didn't know if his body was going to grow into too big of a monster to become actual college player. What he did is he goes to Mater Dei over in Southern California, private school academy, develops, stays 6'6", gets strong. Then there's obviously other schools that are interested on the West Coast, so nobody knows what he's going to do. He remains with Ohio State, so the Buckeyes get the next one. That's what we're saying here. Yep. So they got, obviously, the baton was passed from, I mean, if you go back to Chris Olave,
Yep.
Terry McLaurin was there. And then obviously you go to Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, obviously a part of that. Yes, definitely a part of that.
Thomas.
Michael Thomas is in that run there.
Insane.
Jeremiah Smith right now. Carnell Tate is there now.
Abuka.
Emeka Abuka is in. So the wide receivers, that's wide receiver U.
That's crazy.
And that's Brian Hartline's kind of baby, I think is how everybody kind of views it. Now they get Chris Henry Jr. going in there, who we think will probably just go on and take the baton. And does he have a quarterback that's going to be able to throw to him? Oh, yeah, Julian Saint can spin that thing.
Might win the Heisman this year.
Yeah, there's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance that Ohio State's going to continue to be Ohio State, which is obviously a special thing, but don't look now. West Virginia's flipping 4 stars.
They are?
5 stars.
What?
Rich Rod's out there in a portal right now, or at recruiting day, saying, hey, you're tough, right? You're tough? Yeah, why don't you come on? Why don't you come through here? Muya will move you. This dude's 6'8" or something like that. You think West Virginia's signing guys that are 6'8" to be on the offensive line? Absolutely not. Now we got Brian, okay, who's coming over, which obviously we saw him light a couch on fire. His dad, Tim, absolute West Virginia legend. Now we got Muya coming. I think we got a 6'5" guy on the hook. Oh, yeah, and we just stole a 4-star from Penn State and Sieg, who's an absolute dog and a weapon. West Virginia becoming a problem. hey, Texas Tech, maybe you don't leave the Big 12. Jake?
Connor, I would be happy to have you as my special teams quality control grabbing the coffee intern. That would be great to have you on staff.
Okay, once again, yeah, the price starts at $3 million. So if that's what those coaches make, that's where I would like to enter. But again, we can negotiate that 2.5 with a lot of maybe a house. You know, like we can go and kind of discuss.
That depends on how many cookies they sell in Pennsylvania.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
You're talking about,
I mean, $3 million for a coffee getter. We're going to need a lot of big bags.
Yeah, but he already told you what his price is. You're the one that gave him the job.
I don't know what AQ's given.
Well, what are you?
It's tough to give when you're
Are you throwing your name into the bag here because you could make $5, $6, $7 million a year? I think, obviously, if they were to get a huge name, they get a huge name. That's like what, $10 million is the price is basically what coaches are getting paid. So at Penn State at this stage, I think they lose a lot of leverage. Probably a new head coach for college is what we're thinking. Probably at this point, unless that rumor about the Alabama Kalen DeBoer situation is anywhere near real, which we don't know, but that would be crazy if he was to do that. So it's probably somewhere between.
Brian Kelly.
How do you feel? How do you feel about it? Do you think he would be a winner up there in Penn State? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know what the pool looks like.
There isn't one. First of all, you're creating one. You are maybe in it.
Well, then check. He's a head coach. The first qualification made. He is a head coach who could do the job. No, college football has kind of lost me. I'm kind of with everybody, man. There's. Not because players are getting paid. I think that's absolutely right. I think you bring us in. Don't worry. But they got to figure it out, man. Just figure it out. Like you can't be trying to get a national championship and have a chance to actually do it, and then leave for a chance at a national championship. It's like, oh, that's pretty wild. I don't know. Just figure it out.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. You know, the calendar is insane. Head coach Joey McGuire from Texas Tech, who announced an extension immediately upon getting off of our show yesterday. Could have been cool to leak that one just about 10 minutes earlier whenever he was talking to us. But we are happy for him. Coach Signetti, same thing happened to him whenever he was on the show. About 10 minutes after he got off the show, announced a mega signing for another deal. Also, Coach Matt Rule got an extension about 10 minutes after he came on our show. So that was a good announcement. So, JJ, what we're saying is you could potentially get a massive deal with Penn State if you wanted to give your
10 minutes from now. Could be 10 minutes from now, guys. You have no idea. If I do, I'll call back. I'll let you know.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, we had a coach on the show that got signed to be a senior assistant in the NFL and didn't even find out through somebody else's tweet. It was like, could I have got a heads up, baby? Could I have got a heads up before reading this on there? Listen, I didn't know if I was going to, it was a conversation. It was I didn't make my decision. Yes.
So old school guys are different.
Yeah,
we're in the new age. Everything leaks out a little early. Old school guys, they wait till the ink is dry.
No, I also think the old school guys say, somebody's leaking this, right? Yeah. Shefty's going to do it? Got it. All right, we'll just let him do that entire thing.
An old school guy.
Because Chuck is in the booth next door, and he just knocks on the windows. We give a little hey. He's great.
He's got such good energy. Obviously a legend. This year's not going how we thought it would go for Baltimore. I don't think how Baltimore thought it would be going for Baltimore. But let's pivot to another team in the AFC that just got a huge win. Okay, just got a huge win this past weekend. I don't know if you saw on Monday, people on the internet were making despicable images. They had Lucas Oil Stadium, and then they were calling it the Stroud House. Okay, which it's called the Lod House. You heard it when you were in there. What was your takeaway from the game as you were calling it? And I feel like the Colts are in trouble. And I love the Colts, and I will be at the games. I'll be supporting the Colts. But 40% of our offense, I think 35% of our offense maybe, is really dependent upon at least the threat that Danny Dimes could run. And now we're at the point with this fractured fibula that he can't really move much. Now, Houston's defense is remarkable, but I am very worried about this Colts offense, which has been a wagon for us going forward in the most important games as we have a very tough stretch. And on the flip side, feels like Houston, CJ, that defense may be clicking at the right time. What is your takeaway from the game?
Yeah. First of all, it was really cool to see you and Mackenzie there going crazy in the suite. That was very sweet to see up close and personal from the booth.
Hell yeah.
The Loud House. there were definitely moments where it got loud and they were into it. I think the loudest was the boos. I mean, certainly there were a couple calls that, everybody knows were difficult calls, and the fans let them know. So that was definitely loud. But the Colts offense, it's so clear right now that if Jonathan Taylor does not carry this offense, they will not win the games. That is just what you are seeing play out in real time. It's when he has over 90 yards rushing, they're 6-0. When he doesn't, I think it's 2-4. It's just any stat, any way you want to slice it. If he does not run the ball well, they don't win. They can't do what they want to do, and it all comes down to first down. Shane Steichen will tell you that. Daniel Jones will tell you that. If they can't keep their playbook wide open, if they can't run their RPOs, if they can't run their play action pass game, their screen games to Tyler Warren, if they can't keep the defense off balance, they are not successful right now, and that's the truth. And yes, Daniel Jones has the fibula or whatever it may be, but I don't think that fully explains where the RPO game has gone to keep the linebackers off the line of scrimmage, to keep Jonathan Taylor's lanes open. So I mean, 3-4 is tough, and they're dealing with that right now, both mentally and trying to find a way to win. Walsauce is now out for a little while, while DeForest Buckner is still out. This is a massive, massive game. I mean, technically, the Jaguars are in first place in the AFC South right now, and the Colts have the hardest remaining strength of schedule in the whole NFL. So they have to go into Jacksonville and win this game.
I just learned that. I mean, I looked at it and I said, that looks really hard. I didn't look at everybody else's road. We do have the most difficult path down the stretch here. Is that what you just said?
I believe that's what I was reading in my notes this morning. Yes, I believe you have the technically hardest strength of schedule, and the stats for the Colts versus teams that are currently over 500 and the teams that are currently under 500 is not great.
Thank you, Jay. Let's move to Houston. Let's move to the Houston Texans, team above 500 and certainly looking good. CJ made some throws that reminded me of like very good CJ. That is certainly possible out there on the offensive side. Collins seemingly available. Offense had some misdirection stuff, and we have a couple injuries, obviously, which is not great. But I thought CJ looked good. I thought the Texans offense looked good as well. What's your takeaway on where the Houston Texans can go this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think CJ, he said it himself, D'Amico said it himself, that he's still knocking off some rust. And there's a couple throws, obviously that interception, that he'll want to have back. But overall, they ran it well. They got in down in the red zone, which they have struggled with all year long before CJ. During that 3-game Davis Mills stretch, they started to figure it out. And I think they're continuing that down there in the red zone. But the defense, the defense is unbelievable. I mean, you got to see it up close and personal. It's just the speed and the violence and the intensity that they play with. And you look at it, they don't even do anything that crazy schematically. I mean, they had a couple cool things drawn up this week where they had Will Anderson off the ball over the center, and he just kind of ran straight down the tracks. But other than that, Derek Stingley's unbelievable. Kamari Lassiter, Aziz, these guys, they just fly around, and Matt Burke has that defense humming. So it's very, very tough. I mean, the Colts had not scored under 20 points all year long as the most potent offense in the NFL, and the Texans hold them to 16. Now, again, I very rarely am going to bring up refs in a game because obviously the Texans had some too. They had a uncatchable ball and a pass interference that certainly.
Who says it's uncatchable? You say it's uncatchable? I've seen Michael Pittman go up and get something like it.
I don't disagree. I think the angles on that are interesting, which is part of the reason that it wasn't brought up in the moment. But there is that one camera angle that the ball lands in a garbage can 15 yards out.
Where we were sitting, yeah, we had a good angle on that, definitely not being catchable. But Bill Belichick has told us, I think at the draft, that the NFL feels very terrible saying something's not catchable because then we show some highlights of guys making catches and somebody's like, so you're telling me that maybe he couldn't get it? So what they're saying is that thing has to go into the stands basically for it to be not catchable, which that one almost did. That one almost did, to be clear.
I do have to give credit here because I mean, the pass interference, the delay of game, and the field goal that went over, or the extra point that went over the upright. We brought in Gene Steratore, and it's very difficult for these rules analysts to come on here and say that a call was wrong because those are their officials, brethren. Those are the guys, they've been out there. They know how hard this is. They know how hard that job is. And so for Gene to come on with us and be honest and open about what he was seeing was great, and I very much appreciate it because I think it does help us in the honesty and trust with the viewers that we're just calling it like we see it. I mean, that extra point, in the moment, it was just an honest reaction of, whoa, how did they call that good? And then you try and slow it down and try and explain all the angles and everything. But I get it. The ref's looking up directly at it, so he saw something there. But in the moment, live on TV for us, that was tight.